Hey guys, it's Megan. I just wanted to talk to you for a minute about the stages of change. I have noticed lately that a lot of folks are having a real struggle with how they're working with their customers and feeling like they're pulling their customers along with them and that there's a lot of resistance. And so I want to have a conversation and do a little training so that you guys understand a little bit better what the stages of change are and how you can use those with customers who might not quite be ready. There are 5 stages of change, and as I began learning about the stages of change as a therapist. I'm a clinical social worker. I've been an LCSW for almost a year, but I've been a therapist for about almost 10 years, working with children and families specifically, and I use this a lot with my staff and my clients that I work with. What I'd like to say just out of the gate is that if you have any questions, please let me know. Shoot me a message or comment in the Facebook group so everybody can learn. And I hope that this really helps you better understand the clients that we're working with, so that you can help them achieve their goals. The best suggestion that I can give you right up front is that we need to meet clients where they're at. If we're working harder than they are, we're missing something. If we feel like we're pulling them along with us, we're missing something. And so this is really where the stages of change come in. I know that we all want to be helpful, and if we are trying to force them into action when they're not quite ready, it's not going to be successful. And in fact, it could actually keep them kind of stuck where they're at. People need to go through these changes. They might not all start at the beginning in the first stage, but people do need to go through these stages of change so that they're ready to make the change that they have coming. So the first stage is contemplation. This is the I'm not ready, there's no issue, there's no problem, what are you talking about stage. This is the stage where they have absolutely no intention of changing because they have absolutely no acknowledgement that there's a problem or an issue that they need to address. Many people in this stage are unaware or maybe even just underaware that they need to make a change, even if everybody around them sees it. And as people learn about healthier choices and healthier behaviors, they will be encouraged to think about the pros and cons of changing. But in this stage, the pros are significantly outweighed by the cons. People in this stage often typically underestimate the pros of changing and overestimate the cons. So there's a few pros of making a new change, and there's a whole big list of cons to why they shouldn't. The second stage is contemplation. This is the I think that there might be an issue. I'm willing to acknowledge that, but I don't really know if I want to do anything about it yet stage. This is the stage in which people are aware that a problem exists and are seriously thinking about overcoming it, but haven't actually done anything or made a commitment to change yet. They're probably more aware of the pros and cons, and their pros and cons might actually start evening out a little bit, but the cons are still pretty unequal to the pros. This is called ambivalence. And the ambivalence about changing can actually cause them to continue putting it off into the future and not taking any action to do anything different. In this stage, it won't help if you point out the negatives of their behavior or pass judgment. That will actually make them kind of defensive and feel like they have to defend themselves or just become argumentative. Instead, what's more helpful is to ask questions that solicit answers from them. Questions like, what do you like about your current blank? What do you like about your current routine? What do you like about your current behavior or habits? Another question might be, what do you think it would be like if you started blank? What do you think it would be like if you started eating differently? What do you think it would be like if you started exercising 4 times a week? What do you think it would be like if you stopped drinking soda every day? You want to make sure that these questions have no judgment, that they're open-ended, and they're not leading questions. You also want to make sure that they are really giving you answers from their heart and with sincerity, because otherwise they won't really actually complete this stage or be able to move on to the next stage, which is actually preparation. So stage 3 is preparation. This is the, okay, I'm ready, let's do this stage. This is the stage where people are really ready to start taking action, and that action is usually going to be in the next 3 to 4 weeks. They start taking small steps that they believe is moving them in the right direction and that will lead to a healthier behavior or a sustained change. This is a stage that they'll often tell their friends or family about their plans, and they're wanting to get encouragement. So before, in the pre-contemplation or contemplation stage, it's really important to be sincere, to be honest, to help them through the process, to ask open-ended questions, to get their vulnerabilities out on the table. Once they start making a preparation, this is where the cheerleading can come in. This is where the, hey, you're doing a great job. That's a great plan. Oh my gosh, I love that idea. I've never thought about that. All of those really encouraging words that we're all so good at, that's where this can really be helpful, is in the preparation stage. But you need to be kind of careful. In the preparation stage, their number one concern is, when I do this, what if I fail? And as somebody who has struggled with weight my entire life, I have tried Weight Watchers, I've tried Slim Fast, I've tried the Atkins plan, I've tried pills, I've done Advocare, I've done stimulants, I've done a million things to try to lose weight, and I've always failed. Nothing has ever worked. So when my coach wanted me to join Shakeology, or join one of her 5-day Inferno plans with Shakeology, I was really skeptical. And I actually said, well, what if I do this and it doesn't work? And she said, but what if it does? And that was a question that really stuck in my mind, because I was like, you're right, what if it does? And it turned out that it did. And she was really patient and just validated that concern that I had, because for people in this stage, change is scary. It's really important to remember. Change is scary. If it were easy, people would just do it and wouldn't even look back. So if you've got somebody who's really hesitant to take that next step, be really mindful about it. Don't pull them, don't force them, don't bully them into it. Be really mindful that it's scary, because what if I fail? The next stage, stage 4, is action. This is the stage that individuals are going to actually start changing their behavior. And this is where we want to keep that momentum moving forward. They need to learn how to strengthen their commitment to change and actually start fighting the urge to slip back into old behavior. This is also when we can come in with more of that cheerleading and encouragement and motivation. This is where a support group or an online challenge group can be really helpful. People in this stage are taught different techniques for keeping up their commitments and helping to learn how to substitute the negative behaviors with a positive behavior. Learning how to reward themselves when they reach their milestone goals. It doesn't mean a reward every day, but it certainly can be a reward at the end of a week, or at the end of a phase, or at the end of, whatever. Maybe it's a scale victory, maybe it's a non-scale victory, but learning how to reward themselves is really important. This is also when we can help folks learn how to substitute a healthy behavior for something that's a little more unhealthy. So one of the things that I'm used to is going out with my girlfriends, and this is something that a lot of folks can really relate to. And for us, it usually means dinner. It usually means a Mexican restaurant, because we want margaritas, and that includes chips and salsa galore and calories to the moon and back. And it's usually like, I don't care, I'm going out with the girls. But what that does is sabotage me. And I've learned to ask them just ask them. They're my best friends. They want to be supportive. They want to be helpful. So I can ask them, hey guys, what if we stay in tonight? Will you guys each bring something? And then I usually even ask them to like bring something specific. And they're usually healthier or lighter options. We can still have a fun girls' night. We can watch a movie. We can chat. We can hang out. And it doesn't have to be surrounded by the calories and the craziness of going out. So that's one suggestion that can be really helpful. The final stage is maintenance. And a lot of our challengers at some point will get there, but it will take some time. You don't usually reach maintenance for at least 6 months after the process has started. And at this stage, we're really working to prevent the relapse into old behaviors and patterns, especially during stressful times. Personally, I'm a huge emotional eater. So if I have a good day, I want to celebrate with food. If I have a bad day, I want to celebrate with food or comfort myself, I guess, with food. If I have a really long day at work, I want to go through the drive-thru and just pick up something fast. But giving them ideas and skills and the support network that they need to not make those choices is going to be really important. So those are the 5 stages. There's pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. And as you go through all of the stages, it's important to remember that it's not so much based on an outcome, but it's much more about the process. And in the early stages, people are using the cognitive and affective process, which means the thinking and the feeling. And as you move towards the maintenance phase, it's a lot more just about new habit and commitment. So that's what we want to be supporting as we go through this. There's several things that you can do to kind of help move people through this, but really being non-judgmental, asking open-ended questions that elicit feedback and information from them is going to be really important. It's also important to know that the 5 stages of change are not linear. You're not going to move from one to the next to the next. You can definitely skip some, or it can be, you might spend a couple weeks in one phase and then like 30 seconds in the next phase, or maybe just a couple days, and you're ready to move on. You can also go backwards. And it's really common until action stage is achieved. Those early stages can be really fluid. And even once the action or maintenance is achieved, people can relapse. And then it's usually easier to get back on the wagon after a relapse, but it's definitely something that we need to be preparing people for. It doesn't mean that they failed. It doesn't mean that they're going to have to start completely over, but we do need to pick up and keep going. They also might lose the desire to change, which is completely normal. It might feel like it's just too much work, or it's exhausting, or they don't want to do it anymore. So we need to help keep them on the forward movement. So that is a less than 13-minute version of what I learned in almost a semester of grad school. Congratulations, you guys have mastered the stages of change. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I think this is really important for us to use when working with clients and challengers to help best meet their needs, to help them determine where they're at, and to help them realize that it's completely normal to feel like you have to go through all of these different stages, that we don't all just wake up one day ready to go and ready to make these new changes, that there really is a process. I hope you guys have a great day. Again, ask any questions, but these were the stages of change. Bye, guys.